Okay, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Future of. Future of is a series that we're doing, where we talk to thought leaders and leaders, where they actually share information, insights into the current scenario, and more importantly, into the future. Today's guest is none other than Mr. Anurag Katriar, who is, I'm going to introduce him as we add him on. So let us not waste any time, and let me just add Anurag on 1 second. Welcome, Anurag. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Samir. Always good to be back with you.
Absolutely a pleasure. Anurag, I'll just take a minute to introduce you for those who don't, though a lot of people, everyone knows you in the industry. But Anurag is a restaurateur. He's the ED and the CEO of Digustibus Hospitality Private Limited, the president of NRAI, and he is a proud Indian. So I love that, Anurag, the proud Indian part.
That's my primary identity.
Yes, I
Everything else
do
we do
know.
for a livelihood.
Yes, Anurag, you have been actually, uh, supporting the hospitality, food and beverage, restaurant industry like no other that we've seen. Not only during the pandemic, but even prior, and always have been doing that. So, really appreciate that, and that is fantastic. Um, uh, should we what we will do, Anurag, is we have about half an hour of the session, and we will get
Okay.
right down to hard questions, which we hope that you will help throw light on and give the current scenario. So our topic
Yes.
for today, Anurag, is basically the relationship between restaurateurs and also food creators, could be home chefs, could be others, with delivery apps. Now, delivery apps is divided into discovery apps, into ordering, into delivery, or all merged into one. But we are, for the sake of the conversation, just calling it delivery apps. And that is how we are going on. I have 5 to 6 questions that I want to ask you, and we will also take questions from the viewers, 1 or 2 questions towards the end. So,
Okay.
if you're logging in from Facebook, please, otherwise it comes as a Facebook user, but please put your name, when you're actually commenting. Okay, question one, Anurag. We have been in the pandemic for over a year and a half. How has the pandemic affected the relationships of restaurants with delivery apps like Zomato and others?
Okay. So let me begin by saying that the relationship between the aggregators and the restaurants haven't changed much because of the pandemic, so to say.
Okay.
Uh, it's like it's a beautiful relationship wherein you have to work with each other, but it's like a not so peaceful coexistence, if I may. I'm sorry, I think this one is causing some audio.
No,
Sorry.
maybe
So
you have to just put the volume on zero.
okay, okay, okay. Sorry,
Maybe that would help.
yeah. Sorry, not the most
Yes.
tech savvy person.
Yes.
um, just give me 1 second.
Yeah,
I'll
sure. So, whoever's this thing, we are talking with Anurag Katyar, president of NRAI, as well as CEO and MD of Digustibus Hospitality. Our topic for today, for people logging on to IGTV and Insta Live, is the relationship between restaurateurs, food creators, and delivery apps. Anurag, over to you.
Okay. So to be very honest, I don't think pandemic has played any major role vis-a-vis the definition of the relationship between the restaurants and the aggregators.
Okay.
However, what has definitely happened is ever since the lockdown has begun, delivery has become the sole source of revenue for the restaurants, and
Okay.
we cannot deny that. Sorry, I think this is disturbing me a bit. But anyway, I think
Yeah.
I don't know why it is not going on mute. Okay, now this
Just
should work.
put the volume of the phone
Yeah, yeah, this
on
should
zero.
work now. This should work now. This
Yeah.
should work now. This
So,
should work.
guys, we are
Ah,
live on Facebook as well as in Insta, IGTV Insta
I'm
Live.
so sorry
Okay,
for all
Anurag.
these mess ups. I'm not the most techno savvy guy. I'm learning from Samir now.
No, no, no. Technology often betrays us at the very last minute, but that's how it is.
Very last minute. Okay, so
Yes.
the relationship is continuing the way it is. I think aggregators play a very critical role in the lives of restaurants, especially the ones who are new, because the kind of help they provide vis-a-vis discovery is fairly unparalleled. However, when you look at the pure economics of doing business alongside the aggregators, you suddenly realize the futility of working hard. And I think this is how the relationship has been. We have had several key issues, as you are aware about,
Yes.
starting from last 15 months, and we have been in constant dialogue. I think our differences have not reached a flashpoint where we can think about, like, let's get into the mode 2 or something. No, not at all. But at the same time, I think we are not very comfortable with the current setup or current terms of engagement that we have with them. So, to put it in a very small nutshell, Samir, I think we know we have to exist together. We just have to find the right balance on which the engagement can continue and continue much better.
Okay. Great. Um, um, Anurag, are delivery apps and discovery apps indispensable to the restaurant industry?
I wouldn't use a very strong word like indispensable, but they are very important right now. And I
Okay.
say that for a larger perspective. If India has to become a 5 trillion economy, e-commerce has to play a very vital role. And these aggregators do play a very critical role in the modern business that we are doing. 5 7 years ago, when these guys did not exist, we went to a restaurant to eat, we went to a restaurant to pick up the food, or we called up the restaurant, can you send me this food home? Now what they have brought onto the table is lots of comfort, convenience, etc. So they do play a very critical role. As I said, I will never deny that aggregators and tech has to play a very important role. Our problem is not with the aggregators. Our problems are with the terms of engagement. I'm reiterating that they are important.
Absolutely.
There is no doubt.
Yeah. Yes. So some aggregators, Anurag, a while back, or one particular actually introduced a new policy where there were penalties put on the restaurant for delays and cancellation of orders, which actually created a lot of furore in the industry. What do you personally make of it? And in the future, is this the kind of future where apps will determine delivery costs, etc.?
Let me give you a little detailed answer on this, Samir.
Yes.
Okay. What is the role of an aggregator? They are a marketplace, a neutral marketplace where buyers and sellers can come and do the business on
Yes.
mutually agreed terms and pay some charges for using the platform. That's where it
Yes.
is. I mean, there is no two ways about it. But over a period of time, what has happened that these aggregators have virtually become the digital landlords, wherein they are trying to control the entire ecosystem of the digital landscape of a food service business.
Yes.
Some of the, I'm not even getting to this point right now, but think about it. If I want to just list myself on any aggregator platform, and I don't want to use their complete bouquet of service, which includes deliveries and whatnot, I don't even have a chance to do that. Now that to me is not a healthy thing to do, because then you are trying to become a digital landlord who is trying to control every aspect of what is happening within the food service sector. That's unacceptable. So when you are talking about this latest change in thing, I think look at the larger problem. The larger problem is that these guys are using the dominant position to make unilateral changes to any terms of engagement, which is backed, if you look at that
Yes.
specific thing that you spoke about, which is backed by a thread of delisting. I'm sure that's not how businesses can be done. uh,
Yes.
People are they are probably forgetting that they are just a medium. Eventually
Yeah.
it is my consumers who are ordering my food. You are just a
Yeah.
medium to it. I think they
Yes.
are overestimating the role, and these things will eventually come to a flashpoint where things will go in another direction, which will not be very nice for anyone. But we have to protect our long term interest.
Yes. Yes. So Anurag, obviously aggregators came around, as you said, 3, 4 years back because a need existed in the market. There was a need gap which they've actually fulfilled. What is that need that existed, and what have they fulfilled and continue fulfilling till today?
So I think the biggest need they fulfilled was discovery itself.
Okay.
Earlier, if you remember, if we had to order, we you all used to have like a folder at home with the menus of 20 restaurants around us, and we ordered from there. We did
Yes.
not even know if something new happened unless somebody told us. So they definitely added a huge value on discovery. Secondly, the comfort with which you ordered, from your phone right now, you just order. It's very comforting. You want to use three vendors, you can just do it simultaneously, and so on and so forth. They bring all these, but along with that, in their pursuit to gather larger market share, what they brought in is a very unhealthy practice of discounts, because they suddenly wanted to acquire larger market share, so they started burning
Yes.
cash to change the consumer habit. And that is where the crux of the problem is. I am very very
Yes.
clear that the most laziest way to acquire customer is to offer discounts. It is actually, I would call it, very
Absolutely.
insulting to the sensibilities of a good consumer, that all they care for is discount. So they do bring in the convenience, the comfort, the discoverability, and that will be required. That will be required going forward as well. Other than that, I don't think
Okay.
they're
So
adding any
that will
value
be
beyond that.
required. Yes.
That will be
So,
required. if
uh,
if
uh,
if they don't do it, somebody else will have to do it. We'll have to figure
yeah.
out how to, if I have to put it in a very simple perspective, Samir, I think we restaurateurs, as the owners of the business, will have to do everything to bring back some control of our digital landscape in our own hands. I think that
Yes.
should answer most of your queries vis-a-vis
Yeah.
our relationship
So
with the aggregators.
no, absolutely. In fact, NRAI had announced a while back, or there were talks of, I don't know if announced, that you all were actually looking at creating your own app for members of NRAI. Uh, uh, where has that reached? Is that still in the pipeline, or what is the situation currently?
So, yeah, we did say that we'll be coming up with an app, and we are going to do
Yes.
that. But this is a fairly massive project, and it is
Yes.
going to take some time. And I don't want to put a timeline to that right now. Initially, we had thought we'll be able to launch it by now, by June of
Yes.
this year.
Yes.
But looks like
Yes.
we are running a little delayed on that. But it's happening. But in the meanwhile, what we are trying to do is bring in some other solutions to meet the overall or ultimate objective of
Yes.
taking back some control of our customers who want to order in food. So this order
Yes.
direct that happened recently is a step in that direction.
Yes, in fact, I want to talk about that and bring that up. Recently, there was the whole campaign and a 3 day kind of social media, Facebook talks, presentations for members of the NRAI and anyone who wanted to watch on the topic of order direct, where consumers are encouraged to order directly from the restaurant. Now, these, of course, would be known restaurants that they know of. So discovery doesn't come into the play, because if I'm a new restaurant, for me to spread the word is an issue. So order direct would be a last option, and I would run to the apps to get discovered first. But I've noticed that restaurants through order direct have been kind of sidelining aggregators or delivery apps to directly connect with the consumer. And the example is the Order Direct campaign by NRAI recently. Is this a kind of knee-jerk response by the restaurants, or is it a trend here to stay?
No, so let me say that there is nothing knee-jerk about what we have done vis-a-vis Order Direct. It's a very well planned. And as I said, we
Okay.
made the statement in one of our town halls a few months back that we'll do
Yes.
everything to take back some digital control of our, the control of our digital landscape. What all have we
Yes.
done so far? Let's look at that. When the pandemic broke out last year, and there was this whole new thing called contactless dining, which came around from most of the aggregators. At that time, NREI came up with a vendor of its own, and suddenly that whole program went went out of the window, and everybody opted for our own thing. Reason: while people who were offering quote unquote a contactless delivery, contactless dining experience were charging a certain percentage of the revenue, we came up with a solution which was costing us 1 rupee per transaction. So
Yes.
that killed the contactless dining completely. That was our first step towards bringing in digital support. Then, if you look at, we have already made an announcement and will be launching by August our own loyalty program. We
Yes.
believe a loyalty program is nothing but a communication between a restaurant and its customers, and
Yes.
it's a way of restaurant showing gratitude towards their consumers and thanking them. We don't need a
Yes.
middleman in that. So that is
Agreed.
something which is coming up. We are right now running tests, and we are at very advanced stage, so this will happen. Now, coming to Order Direct, there is nothing knee jerk about it, Samir. It is
Okay.
absolutely a well thought out decision, and I'll take you through the journey of what
Yes.
Order Direct is. The two big benefits, or that the aggregators bring, and where the restaurants get a little wary about going moving out of them. One is discovery, and the second one is managing logistics. Okay,
Okay.
and of course, from a consumer perspective, the convenience. Now, what we are saying is, end of the day, every consumer has an emotional connect with the restaurant. Even if they
Okay.
go to an aggregator platform, most of the time people type out the name of the restaurant where they want to order from. Why do they order from there? Because number one, it has become a habit. Number two, it's easier to order. Now, if I'm giving you the same experience by using another platform, where once you have created a QR code on your phone, you can order directly with the restaurant, and restaurant delivers it to you directly on with their own fleet or using the independent fleet providers. It is an alternative source of getting orders for home delivery. It is
Okay.
not there to compete with the aggregators. They will continue to coexist. So, if I have to move a step forward and move a little hypothetically, if we had to really had to go into that knee jerk or combative mode, how difficult it is for us to just get 200 top restaurant companies in the country to say we will not be on these apps. Habits will change
Absolutely.
overnight. But that's not what
But they
our
are these
intent is.
apps because they need them. There is no
No, no,
question
no. There
about
are,
it.
see. I think if you talk about discovery today, Samir, in a world dominated by Googles and Facebooks and Instagrams, discovery can be triggered in multiple ways by restaurants.
Yes.
So it's
Agree.
not that it is not possible, but difficult thing is to change the consumer habit. And
Yes.
I'm saying consumer habits can be changed in not a very extended period, but fairly quick. If all the top companies of this country decide to go off the aggregator and say discover us on ABC platform or discover us on Google, for all I care, people will
But
move
why are they not?
eventually. No, we will not do
Why are
that
they
because
not?
that's unnecessary combating. I'm saying
Okay.
we are creating an alternate source for now. We are trying to subtly change the consumer habit rather than forcing a habit change, because that will
Yes.
disrupt the market, and that's not the intent of an RAI.
Yes.
What we are
Agreed.
trying to do, just like if a Swiggy or a Zomato does a medicine delivery, doesn't mean they are working against the interest of the restaurants. So
True.
similarly, if restaurants are exploring an additional method of getting orders, it's nothing
Yes.
combative against aggregators. We are allowed
Nothing.
to take
Yeah.
care of our interest. We have to protect our interests.
Yes. Okay. Fantastic. I think that was a very detailed and clear answer, which actually helps a lot of people understand a lot of things. And I
Yeah.
think that is the intention of the future of. But Anurag, coming back to when we are looking at restaurants, apps like whether it's a Zomato or a Dine Out or any other apps, they made the consumer so used to uh, discovery. If I want to eat Chinese in Lower Parade, I go first to an app aggregator and actually look for that. I will not
Yeah.
go directly to my restaurant. So to break that consumer cycle, but we are not trying to. Are we trying to break it, or are we just trying to that you can order directly from restaurants also?
No, I think just one sec. I'll just put this phone in
Yeah,
properly.
yeah.
I'm not used to these things. So
That's okay.
somebody just messaged me saying that I'm appearing ulta on the screen on Instagram. So I just try to put it
Yeah.
in the correct. I don't know if it's right or wrong, but I'll just
No,
leave
it's
it at
fine.
that.
It's fine now. I'm
Oh,
just
sorry.
looking at. Yes.
Uh, Coming back to see, listen. Most of the time, when you want to order Chinese, tell me, Samir, how many times do you write Chinese food around me rather than searching for whether you're looking for a Lynx Pavilion or a China Garden? Let me ask you
No,
this question.
it's more destination for me.
Exactly, and that's with
Yes.
most people, unless you are traveling to a new city or you are new to a city. Okay, so I
Yeah.
don't think that's too much of a problem. And just to tell you, I mean, forget about any new solutions. Won't you get same answer on Google as well
Yeah.
if you
Absolutely.
type Chinese restaurants around me? So I
Absolutely.
think
It's the same.
and today, if from Google I can trigger direct ordering, then why will it bother you?
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There is a life beyond the aggregators. Just
Yes.
because something has become a habit doesn't mean that they will remain the sole habit forever.
Yeah.
Habits do change.
Agreed.
भाई
Yes.
साहब मौका मिलने पर लोग खुदा बदल लेते हैं, यहाँ तो सिर्फ एग्रीगेटर बदलने की बात है.
Absolutely.
हाँ.
I have also when you're saying order direct, ultimately as a consumer, I am looking at a destination, but there are a lot of times, for example, I am looking at ordering dim sums. Now I know around me there are 5 places doing dim sum, but I want to try something different, something new, something at a
Hmm.
different price point. That's
Hmm.
when discovery becomes important for me, and that's where an
Yes,
order
I
direct
don't
does
deny
not
that.
help. Yeah.
No, I don't deny that. I don't
Okay.
deny that when you are
Yes.
searching for something like
Yes.
good food around me, I mean, then you don't know.
Yes.
But you will agree that most of the time people know, unless
Yes.
you are like what I call a permanent discount seeker or a value seeker. Then you don't
Yes.
care whether you're eating a biryani or a noodle. Then you're looking for
True.
whatever is coming cheapest to you.
True. Agreed. Okay.
So I think to that extent aggregators do continue to play a role. I think this phone
Yes.
is giving me trouble. It's just not
Just
being
let it be
stable.
wherever it is, as long as you're partially visible. I think that's fine.
That's okay. Okay.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay, fine. I'll
Okay.
leave it at
So
that.
when you talk about order direct, a lot of restaurants, Anurag, have been saying that you order directly for the consumer. It also saves money.
Hmm.
Does it actually save money, and how does it work?
Two ways that it saves money for you. One is, more than saving money, I think it's about the emotional connect that you have with your favorite restaurant. I think
Yes.
I will leave it at that. But when it comes to saving money today, aggregators are not only charging very heavy commissions to the restaurants, they're also charging you heavy delivery charges and whatnot. During rains, there are hardship charges and whatnot. When you order directly and you are ordering because you have a connect with you, I mean, Samir, discounts existed even before the aggregators were born. Okay.
Yes. Absolutely.
The big
Yeah.
difference is in earlier days, it was decided by the business owners for their
Absolutely.
regular customers or for different hours of the day, different days of the week, different month of the year. It was not like Hapus was available all 12 months as the aggregators have made it to be. It has
Yeah.
not remained anything important. So as a consumer, when you order directly with a restaurant, they will always offer you some kind of a direct benefit. Plus, you don't have to pay the exorbitant delivery charges.
Yes.
Because when you are ordering direct, then as a consumer, then as a restaurateur, I know who am I serving. I know I am sending it, because today with aggregator I don't even know who am I serving. My regular
Absolutely.
guests have become just an order number. They have completely data masked the details. So if I know I'm sending this to Samir, and Samir's father loves a tomato risotto, I would send a small portion of that even if Samir has not done it. And this is not to do any favor. This is what
Yeah.
we have done for years.
Yeah.
Haven't we
Yeah.
done that in every restaurant where we went? It's just
Absolutely.
that
Absolutely.
we have lost that sense of personal connect,
Personal
because
touch.
after
Yes.
the advent of the aggregators, the consumers, the guests have become consumers, and their faces have become some masked numbers, and that is where I think the joy, the hospitality has gone out of the system. Whenever
Yeah.
you use an aggregator, it is
Yeah.
as good as selling medicines, or
Yeah.
selling provisions.
Yeah. So, what are the ways that, before we come to our last question, what are the ways that restaurateurs uh, encourage consumers to order direct? How do a consumer like me discover new menus, new introductions, other things? That's one. What are the tools that restaurateurs actually use besides an aggregator on delivery app? I know WhatsApp is one because Gauri goes on sending WhatsApp to her
Yeah,
entire database, so I go on getting that. What are the other tools that one uses?
you don't even have to think about some very massive technical tools. A very
Okay.
simple thing, when I'm delivering food to anybody, or if like for example sending the QR code to all my regular consumers, just doing an ad on Instagram with the trigger to order direct,
Yes.
order on Facebook. See, one
Absolutely.
mistake the restaurateur should not make is when they are going for order direct, they will also need to invest their time and energy into building
Absolutely.
their brand and brand salience. If they
Yes.
don't do that, they will get lost somewhere,
Yeah.
and that will
Yeah.
be not because they have gone for order direct, it's because they have not invested in building their own brand equity.
Yes.
And that's what I tell people across the board, that
Yes.
please continue to invest in your own brand, continue to make it relevant, and continue to have dialogues with your consumers. I strongly feel that your own digital team should be doing your thing, because and don't outsource it too much. And I say that
Yeah.
for a reason, because nobody can understand or have the same emotions of you as a stakeholder in the business than an outside agency which is managing 20 such accounts, ranging from milk to clothes.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not the same thing. So you
Yeah.
can you can do it in many ways. The simplest way, I'm sending an order out somewhere and I put a sticker on that with a QR code. Next time you order, apply this code, you get something. Or when you use platform, solutions like Thrive or a Dot Pay that had boot camps with us. I mean, it's very simple. We can even do push notifications in certain cases. There are various ways. End of the day, I have access to my consumer data. If I look at Indigo Delhi, we have a database of almost 100,000 people. I have not yet
Yeah.
used them. But just
Yeah.
to give you a little perspective, Samir, we sent our menu on WhatsApp to like about 100 odd people between two locations. In last 40 days, 22% of my delivery business has happened with direct, and I have not
Wow.
even used any platform, any solutions. Because
Fantastic.
end of the day, you have to realize, Samir, when you are ordering a food, you are consuming a restaurant product, and for a restaurant it is your customer. Otherwise, I mean, aggregators are only enablers. It's like I want to go to watch a movie, then what
Yeah.
is most important? The content, the movie theater, and me, not the cab
Yeah.
which takes me to the theater.
True. True.
It can't be.
But
So that's
but
the narrative that needs to be drilled more into people.
yeah, but see, order direct, Anurag, before the aggregators came in 2 years back or 3 years back, it was order direct. I mean, there's no,
Yeah,
before the advent of social media in such a big way, it was completely order direct. There is no question about that. So we are
absolutely.
going backwards to order direct in a
We are
large
going
way.
back to the future.
Okay.
Earlier, okay, so
Okay.
I'll tell you why I say that. I'll tell you
Yes.
why I say that.
Yes.
Earlier, you used to order direct on a phone. Then came aggregators where the tech. Now we are saying order direct using an alternate tech. That's why it's back to the future.
Okay. Interesting. Because otherwise, order direct, unless organized well, it could be a very short term kind of sustainable initiative.
It will take a long time to become something very big and meaningful.
Yeah.
But if restaurant community realizes its value, see, please
Yes.
understand when you are working with an aggregator, between the trade commission, the constant platform driven discounts, and the marketing spend on you do with them, you end up giving them anything upwards of 30% of your revenue.
Absolutely.
Now,
Yeah.
anybody in the restaurant trade will know with that kind of arithmetic, you can never have a sustainable business. So
Never.
it is in the interest. See, ये मुश्किल रास्ता हो सकता है, नामुमकिन नहीं है, and
Ah,
that is unfortunately the only way to
yes.
make sure that you protect your business. Otherwise, tomorrow you will die a natural death. See, there is
Yeah.
fundamentally a structural flaw in the way the current aggregator business is happening. I will take
Yes.
1 minute on this, Samir, if you allow me.
Yeah, please, please.
See, please understand, today aggregators are all losing money. Restaurants are losing money. Year round
Yeah.
discount means government is losing money. The entrepreneurial dreams of so many young home chefs and restaurateurs are getting broken. So what are we achieving with all this so-called big techno aggregator driven growth? A growth
Yes.
which is sans any kind of bottom line growth is a useless growth. It is a growth only on
Yes.
paper. It is not
Agreed.
helping anyone. The only thing it is helping is the enterprise value of the few aggregators, which keeps going on with every click, and
Yes.
what it is hurting an entire community of people who put in their sweat and blood into the food service sector. That's a very harsh
Ag-
statement to make, but
But
that's what the reality is. Who is making in
yes.
money in all this? And if nobody is making money, how do you call it a growth? I have never
Yes.
understood how you can keep burning cash and keep saying that I'm growing.
Yes.
I mean,
Agreed.
maybe I belong to a different generation.
Yeah. No, no, we are. But globally, Anurag, what is the trend? Is it moving away from aggregators? Is it
It is. It is.
complementing?
It is. It
It
is.
is
People
moving.
are finding their alternate ways because they
Okay.
realize the futility of it. In fact, I
Okay.
was involved with the overall thing on what some Dubai restaurateurs did. They launched their own thing called Go Food, which is not yet. I'm not saying they created an app altogether.
Yes.
I'm not saying that it has taken away the business of the current aggregators completely, but it has made a dent, and they are doing it very profitably. While
Okay.
talking to them, I also met up with some. I'm forgetting his name. Somebody from the US. They formed their own app, and they had not only reduced the cost of doing business for the restaurants by more than half, they had started making money as a platform as well, which was going
Okay.
back as dividends to all the stakeholders.
Yes.
So it is possible. It will have to happen. I mean, it's not a matter of choice or matter of getting into a combat with anybody. It's a matter of
Yes.
survival. I mean,
Survival. Yeah.
dollar dumping can sustain them, but we have to pay real bills and we have to protect our interest. We are
Agreed.
not here for niceties. We are here to
Yeah.
serve our consumers and in the process make some money and goodwill. We don't want to
Yes.
lose that at any cost.
Agreed. My last question, Anurag, there are a lot of questions, but I will ask you individually because they have to do with the industry. But on this particular topic, I have one last question is that what exactly, or what couple of things exactly, is the future of the relationship between restaurants and the delivery discovery apps in India? And has it been permanently damaged, or can it be repaired to a large extent? And can both coexist?
So let me start with the last part. I think they have to coexist and they will coexist. Okay.
Okay.
Now the only thing is, do we coexist like estranged couples or do we coexist like people in love? Now that will depend
Okay.
on how the terms of engagements
I
go on. We
Sorry,
have
you're
a
hung,
bunch of about.
Anurag.
Sorry, you can't hear me. Am I audible?
Hold on. And we are just coming back. Anurag, we
Can
are
you
back.
please? Okay.
Yeah.
What I didn't know, where was I when I went off the
You were
screen.
talking about, we were talking about coexisting.
Yes. Now, only thing is, how do we want to coexist?
Yes.
Like people who are matured enough to have a mature relationship, or do we need to continue with the combative self where everybody is looking to score one brownie point here and
Yeah.
there? We have 8 specific issues vis-a-vis aggregator and restaurant relationship. They are
Okay.
very much in public domain. We have been in discussions with both the major aggregators for a very long time, and they range from things like data masking to unbundling of services to platform driven forced discounts and so on and so forth. There are so many of them, and the unilateral changes to the terms of engagement, etc. We have not made a very significant progress in them, I must admit very regretfully, but we have made some progress. We'll continue with our
Okay.
efforts, but
Okay.
if that doesn't happen, we'll have to do whatever we have to do to protect our interest. End of the day, as restaurateurs, we also are human beings. We are running a legal enterprise and we need to protect our interest, and we'll do whatever it takes to do that. But I believe, and I would like to believe, that it is important that we have a peaceful coexistence. We realign our terms of engagement so that we can both survive and we can continue to grow the Indian food service market.
Okay. So it's a coexistence and growth together. Is That's what we are looking
Yeah,
at. But
coexistence,
won't
but not on the
aggregate?
current terms of engagement for sure.
Huh.
It won't
Yeah.
last very long. It won't
Yes.
last very long.
Yes. Great. Thank you, Anurag. I think that was quick and direct, but we will take a couple of viewer questions
Sure.
from Facebook and Instagram. Just about two or three questions that we can do. There is a question by Bisham Mansukani. What are some of the key terms of engagement that Anurag would like to renegotiate with the aggregators?
So I can list a bunch of things that we are talking about. Number one, I believe
Yes.
that people who are ordering of my restaurant are my customers. Today, the
Okay.
aggregators claim singular ownership over the data. That has to change. Number one.
Yes.
Number two, if you are a neutral marketplace, then you have to unbundle your services. If I think I can do the service on my own and I want to use you only as a discovery platform, you have to do it. Number
Okay.
three, you have to come up with the terms of engagement which are acceptable to the restaurant industry and they cannot be changed unilaterally by anyone. That's number
Okay.
three. The year-round platform-driven discounts cannot work. the
Okay.
the beauty of a discount, earlier if I gave a guest 15% discount, he would call me next day and thank me. Now people will call you and say, अरे वो 30 टका दिया तुमने कल 25 ही दिया मेरे को.
Yeah.
I think these are some of the key issues that needs to be addressed. There are a few other things, and Bisham and me can get together on that independently, and I can answer that.
Okay. Someone asked, loyalty stays with the older generation and they also not tech savvy. But millennials are not loyal and aggregators have 90% of them. And they are the ones ordering for the older generation now. How do you tempt these young, impatient ones?
The young will not remain young forever. We will have an emotional connect with them. Every youngster also has an
Yes,
emotional connect with their
yes,
favorite places, whether it's a
yes,
McDonald or whether it's
yes.
a bar near you. You end of the day, whether you are a youngster or an old person, what you are consuming is a product, and that product is not being given by tech companies. These are being given by the restaurateurs. And I think
Yes,
you will sooner than later you will realize that end of the day, what gets you to the aggregator platform is the comfort and convenience. And we are trying to give you some alternate methods to get exactly the same experience. And you will
okay.
come back to us. Don't worry. You're not consuming tech, you're consuming food.
Yeah, absolutely. Sudeep, your question, Anurag did mention that it's in process. It's a long drawn process and will take time. But he is coming up with, they're planning a loyalty program sooner than probably the app.
I think
Anurag,
loyalty we
can you
should be up
enlighten?
and running by August, I feel.
Okay, okay, fantastic. Why are the aggregators, Shelly asked, not able to listen to the voice of NRAI restaurants and reduce their fee? Is it very because they're completely profit driven, or what is the?
No, no, they have never heard of a word called profit in their lives. They have
Okay,
always burnt cash every year. Zomato, for
okay,
example, burnt 2,500 crore last year. I
yes,
think it is a lot to do with the attitude, because they
okay,
are valued very highly thanks to the dollar dumping that is happening with their companies. They believe they control the entire ecosystem, and they have tried doing it over a period of time. But they also realize that at some point of time, if restaurateurs come together, they don't have a product to sell. It's the restaurant products that they are selling. Please understand what happened to Zomato Gold. There was
yeah,
one thing called lockdown, log out,
yes,
and Zomato Gold is a history now. So we, of course, we
yes,
don't want to push to that level every single time. But I believe
yes,
if aggregators fail to listen to our grievances, or understand that they have a limited role to play in the F&B business, they are enablers and nothing more than that. Then
yes,
I think this will change. It's nothing. It's
yes,
because you have dollars which are coming to you despite your losses, so you can have that attitude. This is
yeah,
not going to go very far.
yeah. So, Anurag, when you look at aggregators in India, there are a lot of new delivery apps and aggregators coming up, also due to the pandemic. More so, not discovery, but more so delivery. Who actually take parcels from restaurants or home chef and deliver to the consumer. That is one. Secondly, you have a lot of platforms like Thrive, which is not primarily a discovery platform. Unless you have the link, it's more of a delivery platform where the restaurants will order now from us directly through Thrive. How do those work?
Sorry, I missed the last line. How
I'm
do
thinking,
these work?
how do these work? Yes.
No, it's very simple. Basically, other than discovery, they take you through the exact experience as you get with aggregators. You place your
Okay.
order, you even have an option of saying, deliver me at so and so time or whatever. You can also customize your food. Then it takes you to a page to make payments. All payment options are available. You finish your payment, you get notification where is the status of your order, it's been received, it is being prepared, it has left, so on and so forth. So it is everything other than discovery. But what it does is, for a consumer, it saves you the delivery cost. For a restaurant, it saves them their lives.
True.
I
But
think
there is
lots of
something
consumers
that,
are realizing now, Samir, that eventually they people are mistaking the tech platforms to be producers of food, which is not true. They are
yes,
nothing but carriers of food.
yes.
You can't
But
reward the
platforms
carrier
like
more than
Thrive,
the producer.
etc., also charge a certain commission, though it's probably much smaller a commission.
No, they are much lesser. They are much more, and they are variable. For
Yes,
example, one of the things that we have been talking to the big aggregators are, why do you have a fixed amount, a percentage of commission for people irrespective of their average order value? Your
yes,
cost of delivery, whether I'm delivering food worth 300 or 30,000, is same. Now, why would you not have a variable AOV system, AOV based system of having commissions? If my order is worth 2,000, maybe my commission should be 12%, which gives you 240 rupees. And my order is worth, say, 400 rupees, it could be 16%. It has to work like that.
true.
It is absolutely not right
Agreed.
to have a flat rate of commission irrespective of what is the average order value. Again, I have lost Samir.
back from yeah, now you're clear. So we'll take one question back from Instagram, butter and bay leaf. So someone from the restaurant, of course, says the butter and the bay leaf. Sorry for that. Says, what are the views on review ratings which are mostly artificially boosted on these apps?
Samir, I have again lost you.
Okay.
I will come on Insta only.
Yes, I think so. So guys, we are going on Insta, and we'll continue this on Insta for the next 5 minutes. So thank you all on Facebook for being with us, and thank you for that. Looking forward to the next future of. Thank you, Anurag. Hi, Anurag.
I'm so sorry, guys.
No.
I mean, it just, I don't know,